Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to October 18th, Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters Club. I'm Sally Reyes, your acting Sergeant at Arms, and I would like to ask you all to unplug, turn off your phone. Thank you so much for being considerate when everyone else is speaking and we can hear them. And please help me welcome Miss Cynthia Stott, Leaders Worldwide President. Hello. Anyway, the distinguished and special heaven sent Toastmaster, General Intuitive Guardian Angel, and Intuitive the Ineffable, Cynthia Stott. Take it away.
Hi, good evening, good morning, good evening, good afternoon from all over the world. We have people from everywhere today. I love it. Welcome to Leaders Worldwide, and this is a very special meeting. We are celebrating the 97th anniversary of Toastmasters International. And we're going to do a little something special in a minute. But I wanted to read the Toastmasters mission. We empower individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. And our club mission is we provide a supportive and positive learning environment in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth.
Okay.
And our Toastmasters International values are integrity, respect, service, and excellence. And here at Leaders Worldwide, our motto is that we were designed for politicians, business and nonprofit leaders, entrepreneurs, and others who want to make their message heartfelt, authentic, and ready for the worldwide stage. So we are, let me get our countdown. So we're going to do something special today. We are going to say happy anniversary to Toastmasters International. And we're going to get that recorded by Isaac. Are you ready to record? In just a minute, we're just not going to do it now. But when I'm ready, are you ready, Isaac? Isaac, are you ready to record when I say?
Yes, but I see that it's already in progress.
I know, but you're going to record it locally. And so we're going to, so I have to find my notes.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, here we go.
But I cannot, I don't have it where it says recording, it's already going. It's already.
Who is recording the main event? The main room?
I think that's Curtis.
Is that Curtis? Are you recording the main room?
Yep, I started recording that stuff at the beginning.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Started recording at the beginning of the meeting.
Okay, but you're recording to the cloud, right?
Yes.
Does Isaac have recording rights?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, but
it doesn't. Oh.
Yeah, it seems that you can't double record, doesn't it, Isaac?
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. Maybe
Interesting, because we were able to do that before.
Cynthia, I can do a local recording and then send it to you.
Okay, great. Awesome. So what we're going to do, so wait to record till I give you the signal. So what we're going to do is that we're going to say at Leaders Worldwide, we're celebrating the 97th anniversary of Toastmasters International. Happy anniversary. Then we'll have Carolyn first is going to say happy anniversary. Then Michelle Pedicolis will say happy anniversary. Then Rosemary Sweeney. Are you ready, Rosemary? Is she here?
Sure.
Okay, you're going to say happy anniversary, and then I'm going to say all together now, and then everybody in your little Zoom boxes are going to chime in happy anniversary, and we're going to record that. Does that make sense? So we've got Carolyn first, and Michelle second, and then Rosemary third, and then I'll say all together now, and then we'll record happy birthday. Oh, happy birthday. Happy anniversary. Okay, hopefully we can get this right. And then we're going to send this to Toastmasters International. So let's go ahead and record. James, you want to give me a countdown?
We're ready.
Okay. At Leaders Worldwide, we are celebrating Toastmasters International's 97th anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Now all together.
Happy
anniversary.
Okay, James, you get that?
Yes.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so I want to welcome all of our guests, but we don't have a lot of time to say hi, but we will have time at the end of the meeting to get your takeaways. And so we're going to have a main room event here, and then we're also going to have a speechcraft moving there at the break. And if you want to, at the break, you can tell us that you want to be in speechcraft and experience that. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our Toastmaster of the day or the night or the afternoon, whatever you are, Miss Lola Platt.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy 97th anniversary to Toastmasters International. We're going to keep this meeting on track this evening. And with that said, I'm going to go right in and introduce our general evaluator, Rosemary Sweeney.
Good evening once again, and welcome to everyone here. This evening, I will be your general evaluator, and the general evaluator evaluates the total meeting. However, as a Toastmaster, we know that we work as a team, and I would like to call on our grammarian to give her objectives and information about her room.
Thank you. Now, on our speeches, we're looking for a little flub here and there that might be ands in ups or buts or because, and that will improve our speaking by noticing and bring it to your attention. And our special word of the day, of course, is obvious. It's celebration. To celebrate a milestone or marker of accomplishment. And this is definitely a fantastic celebration of 98 years. Thank you, and take it away.
Thank you, Madam Grammarian. At the end of the meeting, the grammarian and I will be giving a report of our findings. Have a great celebration this evening. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you so much, Rosemary. Appreciate that. I'd now like to introduce our timer, and timer, please forgive me. I'm going to do my best to pronounce the name. Fazia Bibi, president of NAWIM TMC Malaysia. And Bob, am I pronouncing that right? Fazia, the timer?
Kathleen, is Fazia here, or are you going to do timing? Kathleen Pale? Is Kathleen here?
She's muted.
It took me 10 minutes to unmute myself. Yes, I'll do the timing.
Okay, thank you so much, Kathleen. We appreciate that and the absence. And now I'd like to introduce, without further ado, someone whom I adore, and I've known for quite some time. We've kind of came up in Toastmasters together, and that is the one and only James Jeffley. Let's just talk a little bit about it, who James Jeffley is outside of this great person that I know. We want to talk about his bio. And I have here, what's the difference between a good speech and a great speech, right? Between a message, now I'm using two computers, bear with me. Okay, between the message and between accomplishment and legacy. I have a box here that's not closing, so I apologize for that. And our guests will demonstrate the difference. And James, could you repeat that for me, please? The bio, what's the difference between a good speech and a great speech?
And between a message heard and a message felt.
There it is. Yes, and between accomplishment and legacy. Our guests will demonstrate the differences between them in his speech tonight. He is an award-winning international speaker and trainer, a speech and life coach. He's also a published author. And James, you should have one of your books there behind you, since he's a published author, right? He is also, there we go, a musician and a minister. He has served as president of East Bay Toastmasters and Heart to Heart Toastmasters, both presidents' distinguished clubs. Since joining Toastmasters in October of 2013, he has won the District 57 International Speech Contest not once, not twice, but 3 times. 3 times he has won the District 57 Table Topics Championship twice, the Regional International Speech Competition twice, overachiever, and has been a 2-time finalist in the Toastmasters World Championship of Public Speaking. Please welcome James Jeffley. I'm sorry, the title, 93%, 93%. It is my honor, James Jeffley.
Would you, Kathleen, would you turn on screen sharing for me, please, or make me co-host?
Your co-host.
Heard and message felt.
James, could you read for us, please, since there might be some people that have trouble reading it? James? Are you there? Can you read it, please?
I am here, and this is actually part of my speech. So does this feel like 7% of a speech? What's missing? The sound of my voice. So does adding my voice to this experience enhance it for you? Does my voice add information that wasn't there before? How would your experience of the information presented change if I read it to you? Well, let's see. Research from Professor Emeritus Albert Mehrabian, UCLA, suggests that what accounts for communication effectiveness is 7% words, 38% tone of voice, and 55% facial expressions. So what's the difference between a good speech and a great speech? Between a message heard and a message felt? Between accomplishment and impact? 93%. This is an misquoted statistic. What his research actually showed was that these percentages only apply when people are communicating their feelings or attitudes. A different study showed all nonverbal cues to have 4.3 times the effect of verbal cues. So, what do you think? Now you've experienced my speech in text and audibly. Does this feel like 38% of a speech? What's missing? Well, maybe what's missing now is me. So does adding my video to this experience enhance it for you? Does adding body language, does that add information that wasn't there before? How might your experience of the information presented change if you saw me speaking it to you? Well, let's find out. What's the difference between a good speech and a great speech? Between a message heard and a message felt? Between accomplishment and impact? 93%. Research from Professor Emeritus Albert Mehrabian at UCLA suggests that what accounts for communication effectiveness is 7% words, 38% tone of voice, 55% facial expressions. This is an oft misquoted statistic. What his research actually showed was that these percentages only apply when people are communicating their feelings or attitudes. A different study showed all nonverbal cues to have 4.3 times the effect of verbal cues. Now, what do you think? You've experienced my words, you've heard my voice, and you've seen my body language. Does this feel more like 100% of a speech? What was missing from the first time you saw the text only? 93% of tone and body language. That is what has been added. So which of these feels more complete to you? Words, words with tone, or words with tone and body language? Hopefully you said all three. So in the next few minutes, I want to share with you 3 tips for improving all 3 of those areas: your voice, your words, and your body language, to help you go from speech to spectacular, from message to memorable, and from information to impact. Here we go. What did I just do? I demonstrated my first tip to you to improve your words by using a rhetorical device known as alliteration. Alliteration is the occurrence of the same letter or sound at the beginning of adjacent or closely connected words. I'm a big fan of alliteration. If you've heard any of my speeches, you will hear alliteration throughout. For example, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. How many of you remember that from childhood? Or she sells seashells by the seashore. If you want to work on your enunciation, your pronunciation, try working with tools of alliteration. But it also shows up in more than just nursery rhymes or things that we've heard from our childhood. We, the people, declare today that the most evident of truths, that all of us are created equal, is the star that guides us still, just as it guided our furbearers through Seneca Falls and Selma and Stonewall. That was an example of alliteration from Barack Obama's inaugural address. And I'm sure many of you have heard these words. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. In President Obama's speech, Seneca Falls, Selma, Stonewall, star that guides us still. S as an example of alliteration. In Dr. King's speech, content, color, character. This is letter C, or the hard sound C consonant, as an example of alliteration. So if you want to dial your speaking up with your words, incorporate alliteration. Here's my second tip to improve the quality of your words. Use metaphors. What is a metaphor? It's a figure of speech that directly refers to one thing by mentioning another for rhetorical effect. For example, Bob's suggestion was just a Band-Aid for the problem. His suggestion meaning a Band-Aid as in not sufficient to solve the problem, because you don't put a Band-Aid on a broken leg, for example. We were like 2 ships passing in the night, indicating distance. Or who can remember this from Forrest Gump? Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. I'm not a smart man, Jenny. I love Forrest Gump, right? So referring to one thing through another thing. This can be useful for audiences that may not have a lot of experience with your main topic, but they might have experience with something else you could relate your main topic to. So my first tip for improving your words was alliteration. The second tip was using metaphors. Here's my third suggestion. Impactful quotes. Find a quote from someone that you admire. And it doesn't even have to be someone famous, like a politician or a religious figure or someone notable, a movie star, an actor. It could be your grandmother or grandfather or a good friend or a trusted colleague that has imparted some wisdom to you over the years. Gandhi is often quoted, and one of the famous quotes from him is, "You must be the change you wish to see in the world." I'm sure many of you have heard that or perhaps even used that. I'm a big fan of Albert Einstein, and one of the things Einstein said is that everybody is a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. George Bernard Shaw said a life spent making mistakes is not only more honorable, but more useful than a life spent doing nothing. Powerful words. And for those of you who've heard me speak in Toastmasters, I have a favorite quote that I'm very fond of. It's from former President John F. Kennedy. He said, "The only reason for giving a speech is to change the world." And I wholeheartedly believe that. So those are 3 tips for improving the quality of your words and your speech: is alliteration, using metaphors, and powerful quotes. Now let me share with you 3 tips to help you improve the quality of your voice. And the first is work on your pitch. If you've ever heard speakers that talk in a monotone, they don't vary the pitch of their voice. Your voice has an amazing range if you just play with it. And by varying the pitch, there's sometimes for emphasis, you might want to raise your voice to this level. It changes the pitch. Or sometimes you might want to drop your voice down to a different pitch to convey a seriousness of tone. Your vocal range is incredibly wide, but most of you don't know that because you haven't actually experimented with it. So go in a room somewhere and practice speaking in the lowest register you possibly can, and then raising that up to a register that you don't normally speak in. Why? Because it's an opportunity for you to stretch your dynamic range. Now, you may only use a portion of that. A portion of that may only be appropriate, but the portion you stretch it to may be a lot bigger than what you have played with up to this point. Test yourself. Pace is the second tip to improve the quality of your voice. And what I mean by pace is speaking at a different rate of speed. There are times when you may want to speak a little faster because you're trying to make a point, and it's a very important point, and you're trying to convey the sense of urgency about that. I used pace and pitch, but there are times when you want to slow down and allow your audience the chance to digest the wisdom you just imparted. Not everything has to go fast. Not everything has to go slow. Just as you have a tremendous vocal range, you have a tremendous range of pace, and use it. Here's the third tip for improving your voice. Punctuation. Just as we use punctuation in written language, exclamation marks, for example, to indicate, well, an exclamation, you can use that with your voice. So find ways to punctuate your speech just as I'm doing right now. Why? Because it's different. It's noticeable, it's memorable, it has impact. Do you hear how I'm focusing on certain consonants, certain syllables? I'm not saying you have to do this with every speech, with every word, with every line, but there is a line that you're trying to get across to your audience because it is the most important thing that you want to say, and it should sound like that. Imagine if King stood up there and said, I have a dream today that one day my 4 little children will grow up in a nation where they will not be judged by the by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. We all might still be riding in the back of the bus right now because his words would not have moved anybody to change anything. The message that you're delivering has a life unto itself. And if you connect with the power of that message, it has no choice but to impact how you say what you say. So find a way to punctuate your speech. Here's the third thing I want to share with you to improve the quality of your speaking is work on your body language. I know these last 19 months have been difficult for us, and pretty much all of us have been doing meetings, speeches, etc., especially in Toastmasters, through this little box here called Zoom. And what an absolute blessing and amazing thing this is to have this technology, because we've got people from all over the world attending this meeting. They may not have been able to do that otherwise. Through the gift of this technology, we can do that. And sometimes it's difficult to maintain eye contact with them because you can't actually see them. They're in multiple boxes all over the place. So if you're using speaker view, the best thing to do is simply position your camera and your screen right under each other, the screen under the camera, so that as you look directly into the camera, it looks like you're looking directly into the eyes of your audience. I know it's an adjustment because you can't actually see everyone, and we want to make eye contact. When you have the opportunity to speak in front of a live audience, you definitely want to make eye contact. The people in the front row, maybe the second row, and if you're speaking in front of a large group in a larger hall, just look in sections of the room as though you're making eye contact with people in the back, middle, left, and right, and also in the balconies. You're making contact with the section, even though you may not be able to see someone directly with your eyes. Posture. Pay attention to your body language and how you hold yourself. When you walk onto the stage like you own the stage, like you're supposed to be there, right? Because you have something important to say. The third tip is about stage positioning. Many people call this hologramming. I know Cynthia Stott calls it this. It's known by a number of ways, but if you're talking temporally, like there's a past, a present, and a future, then make one part of the stage the past, one part of the stage the present, another part of the stage the future. So that way the audience can follow you through your story as you transition, not only through the story, but also physically through the space. Stage positioning. Here's the last thing I want to share with you folks. Everything matters. What you say, how you say it, what you look like when you're saying it. Be intentional with everything you say, with every inflection, with every movement. Each thing you do should have a purpose. And finally, to elevate your speeches from to amazing, do these 3 things. Make your audience think, make your audience feel, and make them want to act. And you will achieve more than 93%. You will be at 100. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, James. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I hope everyone was taking notes. All right. Now we have time for a little Q&A. And I can suggest that you can either raise your hand or put things in the chat.
Let's have
Don't be
everybody put it in the
shy.
chat so we can save time.
Okay,
Put
okay,
their comments and their questions in the chat, and then you can read it off. Yeah,
okay, great.
I think we
So
got some
far,
already.
we just got glowing praise, as expected.
Do you want to read it so we all can all hear it?
Sure, sure, sure. I sure will. Okay, now it's going fast. Rosalind says, James, you were incredible. Absolutely. Michelle, that was amazing. I love the opening. And we have Maureen. I love the end. Make your audience think, make them feel, and make them want to act. Powerful and impactful. Michelle again is saying, what can you say about body language on Zoom? Maybe sit up. You're
It
on
depends
mute.
on whether you decide to stay seated or whether you have the space to stand up and move around, but it's something that you have to plan in advance. I made the choice to stay seated because that's how a lot of us are giving presentations around the world these days. If you have the physical space to stand up, you'll have to, adjust your camera angle, make sure you have good lighting on you, and then kind of like a TED Talk, you still have a very tiny area in which to operate. If you've ever watched any of the contest speeches, you know what I'm talking about. You just can't roam the stage like you're foraging for berries. You've got to stay in a very narrowly defined area.
Great, great, thanks. I have Rosalind ask, how long have you practiced this talk?
You don't want to ask me that question. You don't want to ask me that question.
If he's laughing, I don't want to ask. I don't want you to answer.
Okay, in full transparency, I will answer your question. I wrote this speech today.
Yeah. When he laughed, I knew it was up to something. But James is that great. He can write a speech.
But here's the thing. I've been thinking about this speech in my mind for a couple of weeks, right?
Here we go.
Not like I just sat down and go, oh my gosh, I got to write a speech. I've been thinking about what I wanted to say and how I wanted to say it. And I just threw some notes together at the last minute to make sure I had the order of things down and the key points that I wanted to make. But I've been mulling for a while.
Yeah. Kathleen says, so doggone clever. You brought the subject alive.
Thank you.
Rosalind comes back and says, I like the way you combine the hands with the words, the movement, and the voice, and the modulation.
Thank you.
Edward Edwards, wonderful speech. Please remind me the last point after the metaphor.
The last point after metaphor was quotes. Use powerful quotes.
Excellent, excellent. And I have Maureen. Well, Rosalind, you have used the gestures before, correct? And then Maureen says, in the beginning of your speaking, I still felt a little disconnected. The connection to you built, as did my lean in. Was that slow build even after you started speaking intentional?
Absolutely, because that was what I was trying to get across, that if 7% of speaking effectiveness is words, I only showed you words at the beginning. And then if 38% is tone of voice, I added my voice and read the words back to you. If 55% is body language, then I turned the camera on and allowed you to see and hear me while I read the words to you again. So my intention was to give you a direct experience of words only, words and voice, words, voice, and body. So you can see how important all of those things are. That was completely intentional.
All right, last one, and I think Nadine might have missed this in the intro. She asked, how long have you been a Toastmaster?
Since 2013, October of 2013.
Great, great.
Thank you, DTM Deborah.
Do we have any other questions before we go to break?
Can I just say something?
Absolutely.
I loved your effect. When I saw just the words there, I was freaking out because we do have some people with visual impairment. And so they would kind of wonder what's going on. And you really demonstrated the need for not only words, not only audio, but your body. And you were also engaging with your body. You were really present with us. And that showed the difference. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely. James has that voice. He has that voice. Rev up. All right. Now,
part of your time.
Okay, is this a question? Do we have time, or should we be going to break? I have Armani with the question.
Maybe just a couple more.
Okay, here's the thing. What do you think about the future outlook of Toastmasters? What made you stick around and make such a significant part of your time and life?
Well, as many of you know, I'm not as active in Toastmasters as I had been early on, just because I needed to reprioritize time and energy and take a break. I was hot and heavy on the contest scene for, like 3 years straight, and that takes a toll. And I think at the time I said everything that I wanted to say, and I've been sitting with what do I want to say next? And when that becomes present for me and I'm clear about what I want to say, you will see me. And it may be here in this form or in another form, but you will see me. So in the meantime, people ask, and if it sounds like a fun thing, I say yes and show up and do it. And so that's why I'm here. There's value in the organization. So what do I see as the future of it? As a place for people to come and learn how to share a message, get over their fear, to develop their leadership skills and make an impact in the world, just as all of you are doing. So, get what you can from it, give what you can to it, and keep showing up, because every speech does make a difference. You don't know this. Some of you don't know this, but you will give a speech that you think is just a box to check off in your pathway. But somebody came to that meeting that night and they needed to hear exactly what you had to say, because they were at a point in their life. And I was like this too. This is why I joined Toastmasters. I was a point in my life and I joined, and somebody said something that made a difference, and then I stuck around. It gave me a reason to keep going. You have that impact on others. So never dismiss the power of your words. That's why I said that all the words matter.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, timer, just want to make sure we stay on track with the agenda. How are we doing? Kathleen?
I'm sorry about that. We are.
Break time.
You have one more minute.
Oh, what do I know?
Okay, we got one more minute.
Coaching?
Okay,
Are
let me
you
just make
doing
this other
coaching,
comment.
James?
Sworn said, when I saw your title 93%, it did make me curious. How do we come up with speech titles that make people want to listen to us?
That's a great question.
Yeah, it was.
How do you come up with speech titles? So I thought about that. Okay, what do I want to talk about? And Cynthia had said, we'll talk about, body language and vocal variety. And I've been teaching communication classes. And so I thought, well, there's the Albert Mehrabian thing, 738, 55, and then 93%. That's the part that we really need to focus on, because words aren't enough. So boom, the title hit me, 93%. And it all just went from there. In general, though, somebody once described me as a stealth speaker. I don't usually name things so that you know right off the bat what I'm going to talk about, because I want to engage you with the title of my speech before I open my mouth and say a word. I want to spark your, like somebody said, well, it made me curious. I want you to be curious when you hear the title of my speech, right?
And finally, really quick, Carolyn asks, are you coaching speakers?
Always. You need one?
There you go, Carolyn.
The answer to that question is always yes. So just call me or send people to me.
Yeah, you can James, you want to put your information in the chat?
And we
where people
are
can reach out to you?
And we are out of time while you put that in the chat.
Okay. And with that, we'll be taking a 5-minute intermission. And James will put his information in the chat. There it is. You can reach out to him at his Gmail. Or if you see me, I'll try to track him down. Just
And
Thank you
big
all for
round
that.
of applause. Thank you,
yes,
James.
let's give another round of applause for
Thank
James.
you,
James, thank you so
James.
much for being here. Always a
So
pleasure. Always a
fun,
pleasure.
so entertaining.
Okay, Madam Timer, we'll be on 5-minute intermission.
Yes,
We'll see everyone in 5 minutes.
yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I would now like to introduce to you our timer and then our first evaluator. Our timer is Rosalind Kahn.
No, it's Carolyn Douglas now, and Rosalind's the evaluator.
Oh, okay. She's got timer up on her thing. I should stick to the script. All right.
Oh, okay.
I should stick to the script. Okay. Carolyn?
Yes, our
Okay.
our first speech is a 5 to 7 minute speech. At 5 minutes, the minimum amount of time to speak, I will show the green. At 6 minutes, I will show the yellow. At 7 minutes, I will show the red, and the speaker has 30 seconds to complete her thoughts. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Madam Timer. I'd now like to also introduce our evaluator, and our first evaluator, that will be, where'd she go?
That's Adji. Can somebody rename Rosalind? She's not timer, she is speaker.
Okay, there you go, Rosalind.
Okay,
All right,
and
so-
then Ajit Roy is her evaluator.
Evaluator. Right, and Ajit is a Toastmaster from India, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being here with us. And do you want to tell us the speech path and the project and how much time our speaker has?
Sure, Toastmaster Lutte. I will read out the project objectives of the speaker. Today, the speaker whom I'm going to evaluate is engaging humor, project number 3, which is connect with storytelling. Now, the project objectives is for the member to practice using a storytelling concept within a speech, or give a speech which itself is a story. The timing guidelines for the speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Wishing the Toastmaster speaker all the very best for his speech. And with that, over to you, Toastmaster Lola.
Thank you so much for that great intro to the evaluation. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like to introduce our speaker, Rosalind Ann Kahn. What you didn't know about Alaska, Rosalind Ann Kahn.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. So today I'd like to share a story, a tale about my last trip to Alaska 20 years ago, and what you didn't know has changed today. So let us go ahead and get started. So I remember when I was on my trip to Alaska, I was overtaken by the tremendous beauty of the mountain caps of the hills. And on the other side was the trash. Yes. How could you see magnificent beauty that was lined with complete, utter garbage? There were sinks, there were refrigerators, there were tires, and yet I always remembered in the back of my mind the beauty and the celebration of the gorgeous animals. And so on this delightful trip, we took a trip down to Alaska. We went to the mountains of Denali. Can you imagine being on the mountaintops and getting fresh baked chocolate chip cookies? Oh yes, we'd return from every day with these fresh baked chocolate chip cookies. You know, it was just, and the guy said, hey, and if you want to have cookies and mousse, just wake up in the morning, look out at your window, 5 a.m., set the alarm, and there they'll be. on Showtime. There was another place we went to. The lady told us if we go down this street at this time, they would appear in front of us. And I thought, wow, seeing a moose was everything Alaska could possibly be. But then I said, I can hardly wait to return. So why did it take me 20 years? Well, I don't know what happened in 20 years, but I told you the last time I saw these moose. Well, let me tell you about the bears, because, you know, there's got to be something funny. There was this young little kid, and he came from Siberia, and he had this mother who was, a Mennonite. And you'd say, how does a Mennonite come with a kid from Siberia? Well, it's a story of a tragedy of the mining for diamonds. And I don't know if you know about the mining for diamonds, but they're not too nice to the people. And if you don't do as they say, they will chop off an arm or a limb or something like this. And I don't know if it was the COVID or whatever, but she ended up in the hospital. And this boy's soon-to-be mother was a nurse that would help the people. And her last dying words were, "Please save my son." Now, this son, I wish I could remember his name, but he was deathly afraid of grizzly bears. And he's like, I hope we don't see a grizzly bear. I hope we don't see a grizzly bear. I hope we don't see a grizzly bear. And lo and behold, we come down this path. And as we're going down the hill, I see the bear. And I give the story. Here he comes, here he comes, here he comes. Watch out, here comes the bear, here comes the bear. And suddenly the kid is underneath the chair and he's hiding. I don't want to get him. And as he goes ahead and he gets closer, he looks and he's like, oh my God, that is so amazing. It's so cool. And he came right in front of our bus. And you thought that his fear of bears were gone. No, he had nightmares. The bear was going to go ahead and get him. But it was funny watching him just as scared as possible as could be. And then there was the night that we went out to see the green lights. You see, one of the highlights besides the bear is seeing the bright green lights of the Alaskan sky, but they don't come on cloudy days. And so on this overcast cloudy day, we were told that there was a small chance, a percentage that we'd ever get a chance to see these great green lights. And I said, oh yes, please show me the green lights, please turn them on. And so as we came down the street of this bumpy little road, out of the corner of the sky, there was a sliver of blue. And I started celebrating. I was joyous. I was happy. I was, oh my God, we're going to see it. We're going to see it. And we got to this big river and it was pouring rain. And I'm like, but I saw the blue sky. I saw the blue sky. It'll come. It'll come. And so at about 2 o'clock, it was as if the lights turned on in the streets of Alaska. Well, they weren't actually the streets of Alaska. They were the windy roads. But on the windy roads, it's as if someone turned on the lights. And as you turned up the lights, you turned up the volume. And the green lights spread across the sky. They were simply magnificent. It's as if you could make dreams of life. And you know, sometimes we dream in life of things that we think couldn't ever possibly come true. And I want to tell you of a dream I had, or a thought I had, that's kind of related to this trip to Alaska. Will I ever see a grizzly bear? Will I ever be able to do this? Will I ever be able to do that? One day in a faraway place, I dreamed that I wanted to be on a stage and speak in front of the world. Well, this past weekend, it happened. I was on the NGO stage, speaking in front of the world, talking about something I care deeply about, not bears, not green lights, but the rights of young kids being educated, and how despite their money and their wealth, they should have a right to an education. And I thought, wow, how magnificent, being a TED speaker, speaking to the world. And then life suddenly changed. This morning, I got a text on my phone, and I, Rosalind Kahn, was given the honor, the privilege, not only to go back and speak in India on a stage this Thursday about soft skills and hard skills, but how many, by a show of hands, I want you to raise your hand. If you know the name of Bob Proctor, can you please raise your hand right now? If you've ever heard of Bob Proctor, raise your hand. I see one hand going up, just one. Well, this lady right here, I have been asked to be a panelist on his stage. And I thought, oh my God, every work organization I've heard, I'm just collecting a fundraiser. If there's anybody who'd like to donate the funds so that I can go ahead and make this happen, if you can just put that money in the chat, we'll take all donations are gratefully accepted for this wonderful, prestigious honor. And you see, it might take 20 years to make it back to Alaska. There might be trash and garbage along the street, but I will always remember my favorite memories of Alaska, of seeing the bear, of seeing the sheep, of seeing the owl, of seeing Denali. And you know what was most funny of all? You see this book behind me? I went in the hotel and I told the lady I was a published author. And she went online, and do you know that in Alaska, I, Rosalind Kahn, have this book in Walmart? Oh my God, I thought it was amazing. So the moral of the story is, you never doubt your doubts. You never think that things can possibly be or can't possibly be, because if you dream it, if you think it, you believe it, you can certainly achieve it. And it is truly that simple. Madam Toastmaster, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. Gratitude beyond words. Namaste.
Thank you, Rosalind. Let's just give Rosalind another hand. Thank you so much. I would now like to have 1 minute of silence for our evaluator. Okay. Timer. Does that seem like a minute?
Time is up.
All right, thank you so much. Now, I'd like to call the timer again to announce the timing cards and colors for speech number 2.
Thank you. Speech number 2 is scheduled for 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, the minimum amount of time to speak, I will show the green. At 6 minutes, I will show the yellow. And at 7 minutes, I will show the red. And the speaker has 30 seconds to wrap the speech up to completion. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Madam Timer. I now would like to introduce the evaluator for our second speech. And our second speech evaluator, are you here?
Yes, that's me, Cynthia Stott, right?
Oh, there you go, Cynthia. You know, I saw your name and I just couldn't believe it. It's just like, that's not correct. That's you. Thank you,
Yes,
Cynthia.
because I want to be a part of the DTM showdown.
Yes.
DTM evaluators and DTM speakers.
Okay, great. So our second speaker is Swarna.
Yes, Swarna.
Swarna Callion?
Yes.
Whew, all right. Swarna, thank you so much for giving me a moment to get the name right. Swarna Callion, The Art of Evaluation. The Art of Evaluation, Swarna.
Can I
Callion.
introduce her project first?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was ready. Please forgive me.
You were excited for the speech. Yeah.
Yes.
Yay. Okay, let me introduce her project. And you have an introduction for me, but
Okay, I do have an introduction for you, Cynthia. Let me just go to my pages. I have a computer, I have a phone. It's a lot.
That's
Go
okay.
on. Okay, DTM, Cynthia, let me introduce you really quick. I got scrolled up my screen. DTM Cynthia Stott is the president and co-sponsor of Leaders Worldwide. She is the 2015 District 57 Evaluation Champion, international speech coach and global visibility influencer with 47,000 plus followers in 140 plus countries. Ooh, Cynthia Stott.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And Swarna Kalyan is our speaker today. She is speaking from the path Dynamic Leadership, Level 5 Elective, Lessons Learned. Her title is The Art of Evaluation. And let me read her purpose statements on her speech. The purpose of this project is for the member to learn about and apply the skills needed to run a lessons learned meeting during a project or after its completion. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspects of his or her leadership experience and the lessons learned during the meeting. Notes for the evaluator. During the completion of this project, the member worked with a team to complete a project, met with his or her team on many occasions, most recently to facilitate lessons learned meeting. This meeting may occur during the course of the project or at its culmination. About the speech, the member will deliver a well-organized speech. The member may choose to speak about an aspect of the lessons learned meeting, his or her experience as a leader, the impact of leading a team, or any other topic that he or she feels is appropriate. The speech must relate in some ways to the member's experience as a leader. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any other style the member chooses. The topic should support the style the member has selected. The speech should not be a report on the content of the lessons learned project. And back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Okay, great. And I do have a bio, a little intro here for DTM Swarner Island. She's a member of Leaders Worldwide and in Club Singapore, District 80, where she is the current club growth director. Whoa, okay. Thanks to the online opportunity to the club around the world, she has delivered keynote speeches, and workshops at Bahrain, South Korea, Malaysia, USA, and India. She is passionate about cross-cultural communication. Ladies and gentlemen, our second speaker, Swarna Kalyan, The Art of Evaluation, Swarna Kalyan.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster. Let me just share the screen for a while. Just give me a minute. Friends, can anyone here tell me what is the shortest word in English which has the alphabets A, B, C, D, E, F? Anyone here?
A.
The word is feedback.
Ooh.
As we celebrate our 97th anniversary of Toastmasters, I'm here to share with you all my favorite part of any Toastmasters meeting, the evaluation segment. And here I'm going to share with you the lessons I have learned being evaluated, being an evaluator, being a trainer, and being a judge in an evaluation contest. So these are the lessons that I'm going to share with you in the next few minutes. Although it's challenging to share the whole thing that I do in 1 hour in 7 minutes, I'll try and do my best. Now, what is the role of an evaluator? An evaluator has to be a motivator. Motivate, fuel the speaker, to have the desire to improve. So when we give evaluations, that should be the focus, that I make the speaker come back again and do a better speech. Be a facilitator. Show how someone can improve. Like we saw two beautiful speeches today, right? And as an evaluator, the challenge is, how do we find ways to tell the speakers, this is where you can improve, and with specific examples. And of course, be a counselor, especially if the person is doing the speech for the first time. We need to be there to say, it's okay, brother, it's okay, sister, do it well. Just encourage them. You did a good job. And when you do that as an evaluator, the person wants to come back again and do the speech. So an evaluator is very, very important in any role, any meeting that we have in Toastmasters. What should you look for as an evaluator? It is, what do I see? What do I hear? How do I feel? And when we see, we are looking at body language. We just saw or heard from James today on how important body language is in any speech, right? So how does this person deliver the speech? Does the words and the body language meet together? Does it sync? Do you understand it well? The second is, what do I hear? Am I too fast? Am I too loud? Am I at the pace that the person can hear? And am I aware of the audience that I'm speaking to? And if there are many non-English speakers, I cannot go too fast that people can't hear me or understand me. So I need to go at a pace that a person can understand. So this is what an evaluator has to look for when they are looking for the, what do I hear? And how do I feel? There are so many emotions that come when we hear the speech. When we heard James's speech, when we heard Rosalind's speech, we could picturize. I could picturize Alaska. I could picturize her in seeing, being on the TV stage. I could picturize her in that big hall or with the audience watching her when she speaks about the NGOs and how we can make an impact. So that is the feeling that we need to observe. Does that speech make you feel impactful? Does it inspire you? Does it inspire the audience? These are the things that as an evaluator, we need to look for when we are going to give an evaluation. So what are the various types? There are many, many types of evaluation, but I will share with you 3 types that are easy to learn and which you can start off. The first one is the sandwich or the hamburger method, where we commend someone, tell what they did very well, and pack the recommendations inside, and then finish it off with a commendation again, so that the person feels inspired and feels good about their speech. The second method is a 3-3, or we call it as a 6-pack. That means I give 3 positives and I give 3 points to improve. And the last one I think is very powerful is that 3-2-1. What is this method? You talk about 3 positives that you found in the speech. Talk about 2 recommendations that the person can take away. And of course, one is the stretch goals for the speaker to improve in his next or her next speech. And most of the time we hear our club president here always reminding us, please give the stretch goals to the speakers, because that is very important. Because when we learn to stretch, from our comfort zone, we always become better than where we are. Okay, so now if I look at, I don't want to steal away the evaluators Abhijit's spot, but if I was listening, when I was listening to Rosalind's speech, what would be my stretch recommendation? I would tell her, Rosalind, when you were giving us your animated speech, I would have loved it if your visual screen wasn't there, because when you bent, I couldn't see you. When you were doing action, I couldn't see you. So my stretch goal to you is, can you move to a screen where I can see all your actions and be with you in that speech? Yeah. So this is the types of evaluations that we can. And of course, in a contest, we always have 4 parts that are there. That's why we call it as arts. Analysis. How do you analyze your evaluation? How do you recommend an evaluation? How do you deliver your techniques? Is there voice? How did you use your voice? How did you use your body language? And how did you use your verbals? And of course, any evaluation is not complete without a good summary. And this is how Toastmasters evaluation contest is tested on, where we are testing evaluators on the 4 parts, ARTS. And friends, feedback is a gift. Let us give with permission. We give it with an intent to grow and for the person and not about the person. And of course, we have to target it for success. And today I'm again going to talk about what James just gave us. Whenever we speak, we have to make the audience think, make the audience feel, and make them want to act. So with that, I share my lessons learned as an evaluator. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much. Let's give her a hand. Woohoo! Thank you so much for that second great informative speech. Now we'll have 1 minute of silence for our evaluator.
Time is up.
1 minute. Thank you, Madam Timer, and stay close by because I would like to introduce and call up our timer, the wonderful Carolyn and the wonderful Fatima, who will be doing the table topics. Carolyn and Fatima, the lectern is yours.
Thank
Would
you
you
very
like
much.
for me to do the cards first?
Yes, the timer first, and then we'll go right into table topics so she can explain the time, Fatima. My apologies.
Okay, thank you. Our timing for our table topics is 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I will show the green. At 1.5 minutes, I will show the yellow. At 2 minutes, I will show the red, and you have 30 seconds to wrap it up. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, our wonderful timer, Caroline, for explaining the timing guidelines. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, great Toastmaster, great guests, and terrific Toastmasters. We have come up to the most favorite part of our meetings, and that is the table topics. It's a chance for us to enhance our impromptu speaking skills, improvisation, and thinking on our feet. Without further ado, I'm going to display a set of 5 questions. We're going to have 3 speakers if the time allows us. Timer, can we have 3 speakers? And we already have a set of speakers who have nominated themselves. I have chosen simple topics for our celebration. It all revolves around celebration. So you just pick your number and then the topic will be displayed. The first speaker who have nominated himself already is our guest, Imran Chowdhury. Are you ready? You may pick a number from 1 to 5.
I would pick number 2.
All right. So your topic is, what would you rather celebrate? Can you see the pictures? What would you rather celebrate? Toastmaster Imran, the floor is yours.
Let me start by thanking you, Toastmaster Fatma. Regarding your query about what would I celebrate, I think there's not a minute goes by where I am not, I don't feel gratitude about life. There was a time in my life when I was depressed, and a lot of portion of my life was spent in in just criticizing myself. But ever since I learned how to pay respect to gratitude, I think there's whenever I wake up, there are a few mantras that I repeat to myself just to remind myself of the things that are going on well in my life, and those are the things that pushes me forward to face the challenges that are obviously everyone faces day to day. So, and one of the things that are important are to celebrate is basically just small victories. For example, if I have already made 4 speeches in Toastmasters, they are nowhere near to the level where I see myself in future, but yet I celebrate even the worst feedback that I have, because that gives me a push, a courage to grow. And secondly, I don't have a job right now. I left by choice, but the next opportunity that I'm going to get is just going to be very close to my passion, and that's something to celebrate every day, because I have mustered the courage to go where a lot of people don't go. I read a book a long time ago, Road Less Traveled by Scott Peck, I think. And that's just I mean, these are the things that I have just today. James' speech was so I mean, all the concepts I already knew, but the way he orated himself, I think that's very inspiring. So every day, every moment of my life is worth celebrating. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And I really agree with you, Toastmaster Imran. The more we find things to celebrate, the more we get things that are celebrated. It grows every time. Thank you very much. I have heard from you that you want your nephew to take part. Is that still on? Or should I request the next speaker? Okay, yes, I see that our next speaker is, can I know your name, please?
Hey, Toastmaster Fatima. My name is Hamad.
Hello, Omar. Thank you for taking part. And Imran has already chosen number 2, so you can pick from 1, 3, 4, or 5.
My lucky number is not on the screen. I'll go with 3.
All right. Hopefully it will be a lucky one. Okay. Which is more important for a celebration? Is it music or food and cake? Which is more important for a celebration? Omar, the floor is yours.
It depends. I mean, culturally, there's always that cake that's cut and the cake that's fed. I don't know, especially in South Asian culture where, you know, the cake has to be cut and somebody has to feed the cake to the person cutting the cake and so on and so forth. It's important and it's always there. I don't know with everyone else. But personally, I think that music opens opportunity for conversation. It lets people get in the zone, and it's important to celebrate. And so I would go with music in that sense. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That was very short and sweet. Wonderful. In my opinion, I would go for food because that is what brings people together. But you're right, definitely. Music is something that gets everyone to have a conversation. Thank you very much. It was a great sharing.
Yeah, I thought it was just cake, but food is good too. It's a
Yes.
tough choice. Thanks so much.
Definitely, all of them are important for our celebrations. Thanks for your wonderful sharing. Now we've come up to our last speaker for our table topic session, and that is our guest from Thailand, Petra. Petra, are you here? Hello, Petra.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we're left with 1, 4, and 5.
Number 4, please.
Sure. Complete this statement. I wish people would stop celebrating. Toastmaster Petra, I wish people would stop celebrating. The floor is yours.
I wish people would stop celebrating. That's a topic given by Madam Topic Master. Ladies and gentlemen, do you wish people would stop celebrating? There's so many occasions to celebrate. New Year, new boss, new boyfriend, new girlfriend, anniversary, everything. And if you have to give a present to those occasions, wouldn't that cost so much in time of COVID economy like today? And I think that is just a saying. I wish people stop celebrating. I do not really support that statement. I don't wish people stop celebrating. Even we can think carefully and start celebrating even the spread of COVID. Imagine if it wasn't the spread of COVID, how could I be meeting wonderful people like you and being in this fantastic meeting like the leaders worldwide like today? So instead of I wish people would stop celebrating, from me, I wish people would start celebrating and never, never stop celebrating. A lot of people forget to celebrate each day. What have we done today? Have we given a good speech today? Have we participated in the small roles today? Have we encouraged people like in the wonderful speeches given at Leaders Worldwide meeting today? We should not forget to celebrate small wins. Don't just remember big wins. Remember to celebrate small wins. Madam Topic Master.
Wonderful, Toastmaster Petra. That was very uplifting, and it really twisted the statement and made everyone feel really focusing on the small wins that we are celebrating every day. Every tiny achievement deserves a celebration. We don't have to be extravagant. We don't have to spend a lot of money, but we can have a strong positive feelings to celebrate with everyone around us. Thank you very much. It was a great wrap at the end. And with that, we have finished our table topic session. I hope everyone has enjoyed, and I pass the lecture back to our wonderful Toastmaster of the day or evening, Lola Pratt.
Thank you so much, Madam Table Topic Master. Are we all getting back together?
No, not yet. We would
Okay,
have to
not yet.
close.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. According to my agenda, it is time for me to invite the general evaluator, excuse me, for the evaluation portion of the meeting. And after that, my duties are done. I want to say happy 97th anniversary to Toastmasters and congratulations to all of you who are members of such a wonderful organization. And I'll now turn this over to Rosemary Sweeney.
Thank you, Madam Table Topic Master. At this time, I call on our first evaluator to give us the evaluation of our first speaker's speech.
Just give me one moment. Let me pin the timer. Will the timer cards be shown or should I have to pin?
Could someone spotlight the timer for Abhijit?
Are you ready, Abhijit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
ready. All set. Storytelling is a concept in which you just not narrate, but you connect emotionally with the members whom you are sharing your thoughts. Today, Toastmaster Rosalind did a fantastic job in creating such a beautiful ambience, not just for a few fellow Toastmasters present in this meeting, but also for me. I do not envisage to travel to Alaska anytime soon, but today, virtually, I got an opportunity to see the beautiful mountains, the beautiful hills, and the greenery all around. But at the same time, something really shocked me. That was the garbage that you talked about. Well, I now have to really give it a thought of whether to go back to Alaska or not. Why did I say that? Is because of the concept that you built in your entire storytelling speech that you shared along with us. What really made the speech even more special is through the way of your voice modulation. I'll give you some examples where you really made sure that the audience hears very carefully of what exactly you're going to share. One such important element was when you talked about the second part of the story about the kid from Siberia. And you made a statement, here comes the beer. The way you said that, here comes the beer, here comes the beer. Well, for a moment, even if I would have been lost, I came back as an active listener. Second was green lights spread across the sky. You created the situation. Green lights all across the sky. I was seeing that those green lights right across. This is the way a storytelling speech is being actually delivered. Great job done, Toastmaster Rosalind. And the most important part is, towards the end, you had a clear message. A message in a storytelling is very, very important. And you had a message for all of us that if you can think it, you can do it. And I'm going to do something that I'm going to travel to Alaska anytime before I turn 50. That is a key message for me as a takeaway. But here is something that you can, of course, look upon to improve even further and enhance your speech. Number one is when you have a storytelling, you have hand gestures, you have facial expressions, and you have body movements. When you have that, try and avoid using the virtual background, because the moment you bend down, hiding like that you showed, we were just seeing, we were not able to see you. There was some haziness, there were some hand movements which were getting disappeared, but that's something that you can like to work upon. And one more element was somewhere in your story, you talked about the being a panelist in Rob Proctor's speech. Somewhere that was a disconnect, that is what I felt with the main story that you tried to show. All in all, to conclude, great expressions, great start. And of course, you have a great storytelling concept, a little elements of work on the virtual background, and to connect a little more better on what I said, and even can make your speeches going further much better. All the best, a great storyteller in you, Toastmaster Rosalind. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you for such a detailed evaluation. And now I called on our second evaluator to give us the evaluation of our second speaker's speech. Alteration.
Thank you, Rosemary. Have you introduced me already? Ah, there we go. Thank you, Rosemary. Fellow Toastmasters and guest, and especially Swarna. That was amazing. I just love the title of your speech. It's the art of evaluation, and it is the art, and then it stands for an acronym for evaluating. Right off the bat, I really loved your background. Your virtual background was perfect. I have never seen that before, where you were in picture inside the virtual background. That was great. So that didn't create a barrier, because usually it's a big box for the visual aids, and then you're a little tiny box for the person, but you put yourself right in your visual aid. I love that. I love that. I thought you were very animated. You had great gestures, and you enunciated well, so that we could clearly understand you. Because as you said, there's non-native English speakers, many different languages spoken here on Leaders Worldwide. So it's really important that we are clear. I love that. Then I also enjoyed that you had this way of sharing it like a story, like what you're supposed to do and how you create it. And it really felt like an art piece. What I'd like to see more of is pausing and using some of James's recommendation for making something really important. You slow it down and allow it to land. And that's especially important for non-native English speakers, because they need the ear to catch up with the brain. So slowing it down so we know this is an important point. Great. And the stretch goal for you isn't really a stretch goal, because I know you've given this, I think it was in a 45-minute presentation in where were we? We were in Sri Lanka. And I gave a presentation on speaking, and you gave a presentation on evaluation, and it was my morning and your night. And we really cleaned it up in Sri Lanka. But I would encourage you to give this more often. I mean, you're the club growth director, so you could definitely have an opportunity to share this in your district as well as our district, to share this art of evaluation, maybe at a Toastmasters Leadership Institute or a conference, or maybe even a special masterclass that we have here in District 57. All in all, it was absolutely wonderful speech, and I am looking forward to more art of evaluation. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster, or General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Cynthia. At this time, I will call on our grammarian, Sally.
She went to the Speechcraft. I forgot that. So we won't have
Okay, so can we have the timing of our evaluators, please?
You're waiting on the grammarian who's in Speechcraft?
No, yes. We're not going to have her report because.
Okay, then I will get the timer's report.
Yes, please.
All right. I would like to report of our two speakers, only one speaker was over time, and that was our second speaker at 8 minutes and 54 seconds. Table topics, we only had one speaker that was under time, speaker number 2, 32 seconds. The minimum time should be at least 1 minute. And for our speech evaluators, just one was overtime. Our first evaluator over by 4 seconds. Ooh. That's the timer's report.
Thank you so much. And at this time, I shall be presenting my report. Our meeting began on time, and most times we get that right, and we should continue because as Toastmasters, we know the importance of time. And so we should celebrate and ensure that in our celebration, we encourage each other to be on time.
Mm-hmm.
Our meeting flowed smoothly, though our timer was not there. As we know, a Toastmaster wears many hats, and we got one timer first, and then that timer had to move, and immediately we thank Toastmaster Douglas for stepping in. I enjoyed the keynote speaker's presentation, and I am sure all of us here this evening, this morning, tonight, whatever time, will be taking away great nuggets from his presentation. We even saw in someone's presentation that part of the presentation was presented as a presentation. So we know that it has stuck with us. Our speakers, they were awesome. They were well prepared. And we have learned that our dreams will come true, and we should hold fast to our dreams, not just let it go, because Toastmaster Rosalyn's dream came true. And right now she's all over. We congratulate her and we celebrate with her. We also learned that evaluations are a gift, and sometimes we might not want to hear what the evaluator says to us, but we should not focus on the evaluator, but on what is being told to us so that we can move forward and grow. I was intrigued by our table topic master this evening. Our table topic master, you were just awesome. I was mesmerized by the click of your button. The question would come up and the colors and everything. I enjoyed the table topic master. I enjoyed the responses. It's like the table topic speakers were well prepared for whatever topic was thrown at them. Overall, I love the evaluators. They showed they listened and they cared and gave great feedback. I just love this portion of Toastmasters meeting. So Toastmaster Swana and I are the same. And as I said, our timer, Toastmaster Caroline, everything was on point this evening. I congratulate everyone who presented here. Our DTM showdown, it is really a showdown. And I encourage everyone who are here, who are guests, to continue coming to our meetings and learn and grow. And we will learn from you also. Madam President.
Thank you, DTM Rosemary Sweeney. That was awesome. Give her a round of applause. Yay! You helped us celebrate. Great. And I want to thank all the role players. I mean, Rosemary, you thanked them, but I want to thank them again because, I mean, Carolyn stepped in last second just to be the timer, and our wonderful table topics master from Malaysia and our wonderful evaluator from India. I mean, this is truly an international meeting. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So we're going to come to our favorite part of the meeting, which is takeaways and chocolates. What did you learn? What are you taking away with you from this meeting? This is something that we always have at Leaders Worldwide, and we give you a virtual chocolate at the end. No sugar, no calories, just fun. And does anyone have a takeaway that they want to share? How about you, Imran? Imran, yes.
Yeah. So I've recently joined Toastmasters Karachi in Pakistan. It was maybe a month and a half ago, and this is, I believe, my second visit here. And one thing that I noticed different from my own club is that you are very punctual and very wary about the time, and That's something that I picked up from here. Otherwise, my own club is very renowned, and there are a lot of members and very proclaimed in their in other activities. But this is something that I picked. Obviously, there are other elements as well, as I mentioned in my tabletop speak, which I loved about the meeting, but this is the most profound one.
Great. Thank you, Imran. And would you like a chocolate, a virtual chocolate?
Obviously, how can I say no? Life is life
There's
in
no
life.
sugar, no calories, just fun. You ready? 1, 2, 3, woo! There's your chocolate. All right. And would anyone else like to share their takeaway? Do we have our speech crafters back?
He's speaker number 2 there. Who's raising his hand? There you are.
Imran's friend would like to share.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hey,
Omar, right?
Yeah, no, Hamad, Hamad.
Hamad.
The chat, if you guys want to reference. But yeah, I mean, first of all, I apologize for cutting it short, 30 seconds. I wasn't aware of the rules, but moving forward, I'll make sure that I'm more, on schedule. Anyways, one of the things that I wanted to say, sorry, not necessarily feedback, but one of the things I'd want to see is, especially when we're a part of such an exceptional presentation or such exceptional presentation, I would want to see some feedback that's sort of not negative, but something that would actually trigger something that, hey man, like that's something that I seriously need to work on, or something that's actually sort of in the sense that people would be like, hey, skill way, even in a small nuance, a negative feedback, something like that. And so even with Jeffrey, sorry, let me just confirm that. One of the speakers. Is it? With James, was it? Yeah.
James, yes.
James.
James, yeah. One of the things I want to ask James was also if he's ever received any negative feedback that really changed sort of his outlook on speaking. One of the things that he heard, not necessarily tedious, but something that really affected him, where I was like, hey man, that's something I seriously got to improve on, that he didn't know of at a certain time. And that's something that I always do. I look into things like, what can I say that would actually make a difference, and something that he's probably never heard before. And I think that everyone that's giving feedback should always focus on something that, hey, what's something that that I've never heard before, that the speaker might have never heard before, that I can sort of input, that can that some special feedback, right?
Awesome. Are you a
That's
Toastmaster?
pretty much it.
Are you a
I'm not a
Toastmaster?
Toastmaster, actually. Yeah, no, I'm actually here visiting my uncle.
Great. We have an evaluation contest, and you would be great at that.
No, I would love to. And this is my introduction. My uncle, he told me he's showing some initiative in some of these events, and I was like, let's check it out. And I thought I'd come listen up, and I'm glad I did. It was great. Learning and just being a part of a community was great. Thanks so much, guys.
Great, thank you. And you're so interested in feedback and in evaluation. There is an evaluation contest in some parts of the world. It's going on now, and we're going to have ours in January. So make sure to come back for that. And we have a test or target speaker who speaks for 5 to 7 minutes. And then we have 3 to 5 or 8 evaluators that are judged on their evaluation. And if you win at the club level, you go on to the area, the division, the district, and that's where it stops. And I was the 2015 reigning champion of evaluation contests. So great. Great. And would you like a chocolate?
Yeah, of course. My handle's in the chat, and if there's ever any opportunities you guys want to reach out to, I'd love to be involved. You can connect with me. Cool.
Great. And did you I think you filled out our registration form too, so you'll get emails from us. Great, great. So here's your chocolate. 1, 2, 3, woo! Awesome. And anybody else want to share their feedback, share their takeaway? And I think we have our people back from the Speechcraft. Curtis, can you look for raised hands for me? I can't see everybody because I'm on my phone. But maybe one of our Speechcrafters wants to share their experience. Do we have Gary? I know Gary was the speaker. Is he still here?
Yeah,
Gary.
yeah. No, it was delightful. Of course, I'm more critical about myself than anybody, but I got some wonderful feedback from Isaac. He was tremendous, and things that I'm definitely going to incorporate in my next speech, or my revision of this speech. And so it was very helpful, and really appreciate all the feedback from everybody who was in the room, in group, and it's a great process. Oh, I can't hear you.
I was muted. Sorry. Would you like a virtual chocolate?
Of course.
You're 1, 2, 3. Woo! Great, Gary. I'm glad you had just such a great experience in the Speechcraft, and you're our demo speaker. So you're the only speaker in Speechcraft on these training days. So thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Well, we did have table topics. So we had a bunch of table topic speakers.
Awesome. Do you want to share your experience, Michelle?
Well, I will share my experience of how you just go with the flow. And when you make a mistake, you just pick up from where you messed up. So I forgot to introduce Kadisha as our trainer and went right into the demo speaking. And then I realized I had done it, called up Kadisha. It all went seamlessly. It all worked just fine. Kadisha did a great job. And we continued on. And I realized what it was about the agenda that caused me to have my eyes slip over that part. And it was the lines around it that made me just skip it. So that it's interesting to see how that happens. We had great speakers. We talked about the fall weather. And well, actually, we talked about what it was our favorite season. So that was a lot of fun. And a number of our members jumped in and did timing. It was a really very energetic session. And that's it. Thank you.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Would you like a chocolate?
I would. Thank you.
1, 2, 3. Woo! Celebrations. And is anyone else raising their hand? Can you see
Rosemary,
Curtis?
Rosemary, you had your hand up earlier? Oh, no, sorry. No hands up. Swarna, that's you?
How about Kadisha? I'd love to hear from Kadisha.
I want to add on to what Michelle said. Everything went well, even though we kind of went out of sequence in the beginning. And I also want to acknowledge Kathleen Phil for supporting us and for stepping in. On Sunday, group 2 met, and Kathleen Phil was there to support us as well. She talked about the second project in level 1 of presentation mastery, and tonight she gave more information on that. So kudos to Kathleen. Thank you so much, and Michelle.
Great. What teamwork we have. I love it. I love it. And anyone else want to? Oh, would you like a virtual chocolate?
Absolutely.
Here you go. 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! Anyone else want to share their experience? What are they taking away with you tonight?
Rosalind is waving frantically.
Rosalind.
Well, I always think it's fun and exciting when we have people from different places to come and visit our club. Fatima gave the most incredible table topics, and I'm so proud of all the guests who went ahead and participated because they had so much to share. So, I think it'd be really cool to, take another country from around the world and bring them to us and imagine all the things that we can learn. Good recipes, good things about culture, celebration parties. I mean, did you know that in Asia, they need to cut their cake and serve the person who eats the cake first? I never would have known that before. And I learned that in my table topics today. Imagine that. Fun stuff. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. Yes, it is international for sure. And would you like a virtual chocolate? Even an international virtual chocolate? From Belgium, perhaps.
I'm ready.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Woo! And how about you, Lexi? I see you're unmuted. What would you like to share?
Well, I know how to do the timing with the cards, but I want to learn how to do it with the colors behind. So maybe somebody could help me with that soon.
Yeah, Isaac is excellent at that. I'll connect the two of you. That would be great. Isaac is a great trainer for timing cards, and he even trained Wei Lin, so he could learn how to time. And he's going to be timing at a Toastmasters Club on Thursday morning, because it's evening for him, and that's a good time. What are you taking away with you today, Lexi?
That I really want to do timing. I've been wanting to do timing at my home club, Toast of Richmond, but I just couldn't figure out that color thing, and I kind of gave up on it. And I was just going to use the cards, but I want to learn how to do it with the color background. I have been using the virtual backgrounds with putting a green thing on the back of my chair and using virtual backgrounds, but now that I'm using my MacBook, I want to learn other ways of installing backgrounds to the screen, because I hear the MacBook you can't use some of the virtual backgrounds on the MacBook.
I see. Okay, well, you can talk with Isaac, and he can probably help you with that and deciding if it will work for that or not. Yeah, we're so glad you're here as our timer. And did you get to give a table topic?
Yeah, and I also told everybody how important timing is. That when I first started interviewing at East Bay Mud, I got in front of my mirror at home, and I spent a lot of time in front of the mirror in the bathroom, because to make sure I didn't have a hair out of place, that everything was going great, and don't give too much information, answer the interviewer's question, and don't talk too much, and how important timing is, especially in contests. I've seen a couple of really experienced people get disqualified because they went over the time limit. So timing is very, very important.
That's right. I did that myself. I would have been the 2014 evaluation contest champion, but I went over time and had to go through the whole year again, to club, to area, division, and then to district. And then I didn't time out that time.
Yeah, so I'm so sorry.
It's so tough. Yeah. And I've timed out in contests, speech contests as well. So I've had my fair share of timing out. Would you like a virtual chocolate?
Yes.
Here you go. 1, 2, 3. Woo!
Thank you. It's probably better than the Reese's peanut butter cup I had earlier. Thank you for that.
This one's from Belgium.
Oh,
Belgian
wow.
chocolate.
How nice. Thank you so much.
And so I want to let you know about the announcement. The announcement is that next week, which is October 25th at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time to 1 p.m. Pacific time, is our anniversary celebration. This week we celebrated Toastmasters International 97th anniversary. And next week we celebrate our first anniversary. We're 1 year old. Woo!
Oh, wow. Great.
Sometimes I can't believe that it's been a year, and sometimes I'm thinking it's been like 5 years.
Thank you.
Great. So we hope that you'll come and celebrate. We have DTM announcements to make, new DTMs, fourth DTM.
Wow.
All of
That's wonderful.
It is wonderful. And our new members that we're going to induct as well. So Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed tonight. I hope that you got a lot out of it and that you're having lots of takeaways to take with you and to think about and to contemplate at Leaders Worldwide, because we have DTMs that are evaluating and speaking, and we have great plenary speakers. We always want to enrich your experience. Thank you so much. Bye-bye for
Thank
now.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Happy anniversary, Leaders Worldwide, too.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Fatima.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.